Welcome to True Projects. In this video, we are going to explain about a project titled E-commerce fraud detection using machine learning. The project's introduction underscores the increasing global appeal of e-commerce, enabling the customer to conveniently purchase products using the credit card transactions from their residencies. While e-commerce presents advantages for buyers and sellers alike, the latter face potential risk possessed by deceitful traders engaging in fraudulent activities. To combat this issue, the project's objective is to propose a machine learning model that can effectively detect the fraudulent merchants on e-commerce platforms. The project goal is to introduce a machine learning model designed to identify the merchant fraud within e-commerce platform. The primary aim is to compile a roster of fraudulent merchants and then employ the machine learning algorithm like random forest, decision tree, logistic regression, and of many more to teach the machine how to recognize the deceptive entities. By doing so, the project seeks to enhance the defense against the e-commerce fraud within active commerce platform. The basic requirements that are needed to build this project. Software requirements: Python IDE with version of 3.7 or Anaconda with version of 3.7 on Jupyter Notebook. And the second one are hardware requirements. They are operating system as Windows, processor of minimum Intel i3 and above, RAM of minimum 4 GB, hard disk of minimum 250 GB. And to know about the flow of the project, these are the steps we need to discuss. The first one is importing the library. And this, the relevant Python libraries such as Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, Cban, sklearn, and XGBoost are imported. These libraries provide the necessary tools and the functions for the data manipulation, visualization, and building the machine learning model. And the second one is exploring the dataset. The dataset containing the information about e-commerce transactions and merchants is explored. This step involves understanding the structure of the data, checking the number of rows and columns, and gaining the insight into the various features present in the dataset. The third one is data cleaning. In this phase, the dataset is cleaned to ensure that it is suitable for analysis and model building. This involves handling the missing value or the null value, dealing with the duplicate, and removing the irrelevant or redundant features. And the fourth one is checking the missing value. A thorough check is performed to identify any missing value in the data set. Strategies are employed to handle these missing values, such as imputation or removal of the affected rows and columns. And the fifth one is data visualization. In visualization, we created a gain deep understanding to the data distribution and the relationship between the different variables. Graphs and charts are used to present the patterns, trends, and potential correlations in the data. And the sixth one is splitting the data to the training and the testing. The data set is split into the two subsets, the training set and the testing set. The training set is used to train the machine learning model, while the testing set is used to evaluate the performance and generalization capability. And the seventh one is building the model. Multiple machine learning algorithms are employed to build the fraud detection. The first one is SVM, stands for Support Vector Mission, is a powerful machine learning algorithm used for classification as well as regression tasks. It works by finding the optimal hyperplane that best separates the data points of the different classes in a high-dimensional space. The objective is to maximize the margin between the classes, making SVM effective in handling the complex and the non-linear data. And the second one is Gaussian naive Bayes. The naive Bayes is a simple and efficient probabilistic algorithm used primarily for classification tasks. The Gaussian variant assumes that the feature allows a Gaussian distribution. It works on the principle of the Bayes theorem and assumes that the features are conditionally independent given the class label. Despite its naive assumption, it often performs surprisingly well, especially in test classification and spam filtering. And the third one is random forest. Is an ensemble learning technique that combines the multiple decision tree technique that combines the multiple trees to create the more robust and accurate model. It randomly select the subsets of the data and features and build multiple decision tree. The final prediction is made by aggregating the predictions of the individual trees, reducing the overfitting and improving the generalization performance. And the fourth one is light GBM. Light GBM stands for Light Gradient Boosting Mission. It's a framework that uses the tree-based learning algorithm designed to be efficient and scales well for large data set. Unlike traditional gradient boosting method, Light GBM split the tree leaf wise rather than the level wise, which reduce the number of splits and speed up the training process. And the fifth one is XGBoost, that is Extreme Gradient Boosting, is another popular gradient boosting library that has gained widespread use in the data science competition. And the Light GBM is an ensemble learning method. It combines the multiple V learners to create a strong predictor. XGBoost incorporate the regularization technique and the advanced optimization algorithm, make it highly accurate and efficient. And the sixth one is voting classifier. The voting classifier is an ensemble method that combines the prediction from the multiple base classifiers to make the final prediction. There are two main types of voting, hard voting and soft voting. Voting classifier can often achieve the better performance than the individual classifiers and provide more robust prediction. And the accuracy comparison graph. The performance of each machine learning model is evaluated using the metric such as accuracy, precision, recall, and FM score. Comparison graph is created to visualize the performance of each model, helping to identify the most effective approach for the fraud detection. And the training model. One of the best performing machine learning model is trained using the training dataset. The model learns patterns and relationship within the data to make the accurate prediction. And the user gives input. As a part of fraud detection system, we use the Flask as a web interface to create an web application where the user can provide the input such as of transaction details or the merchant information and many more to check for the potential fraud. And the 11th step is the given input is pre-processed for prediction. The user provided input is pre-processed to ensure it aligns with the format used during the model training. Data cleaning and transformation steps are applied to the input data. And the 12th one is trained model is used for prediction. The pre-processed input data is fed into the trained machine learning model. The model analyzes the input and predict whether the transaction or the merchant is likely to be fraudulent or not. And the last step is final outcome is displayed. The prediction outcome is displayed to the user. This information can be used to make informed decision about the e-commerce transaction and that helping to mitigate the potential fraud risk in active e-commerce platform. The execution of the project. To execute the project, first we need to open the code folder. This is the code folder containing of different files within it. The static folder containing of the CSS, images, JavaScript, web fonts within it. And the template folder containing of the HTML documents within it, each of home, index, results, and sign up. And the app is an py file which contains the algorithm's information that related to the front-end logic. It includes the code written in Python that handles the server-side operations such as processing the user input and interacting with the database and generating the dynamic content that will be rendered in the HTML template. And the notebook is an IPYNB file which contains the combination of the code, graph and output all in one place. It allows the user to write and execute the code in the individual cell, making it popular choice for the data science. And signup.db is a file appeared to be the database file used to store the user information. And the customer transaction details and the customer DF are the data set that we used in this project. And to execute the project, we build a Flask framework as a front end, and the total code of graphs and outputs all are present in the Jupyter notebook named notebook. And for the execution of the project, first we need to copy this address of the code folder and then open the Anaconda prompt. Here we need to first change the location of the disk as F because our code folder is present in ftest, and write a command cd space paste this address. By this command it will change the directory to the code folder's path, and then click on enter button. After this we need to write a command, that is python space app.py. By this command it will execute the Python script and find any errors and the syntax errors within it, and then click on enter button. After running the app.py file, the Flash framework will host the application locally at the default address as like this. We need to copy this address code link and then paste it on any of the web browser as of your choice, and I am preferring to use of Chrome, and enter the click button, and then we redirect you to the sign up page as of this, and click on the sign up button. Here we redirected to the registration page where it contains the necessary details. These need to be filled to create an account. My account is already generated, that's why I'm using the sign in button. It redirected to the sign in page containing of the username and password as of admin, and enter the username and password as of admin, and then click on sign in button. It will redirect it to the index page containing some fee input details we need to fill it. Then it will get an prediction of that result. First we need to enter the details for this. Number of transactions is 1, number of orders is of 0, number of payments is of 1, and the number of transaction fail is of 0, and the total transaction amount is of 0, and the payment rec fail is of 1, and the PayPal payments is of 0, and the Apple payments is of 0, and the card payments is of 0, and the Bitcoin payments is of 1, and the orders fulfilled is of 0, order pending is of 1, and the order failed is of 0, JCB 16 is of 1, and the American Express is of 0, and the Visa is of 1, Visa 16, and Discover is of 0, and the Voyager is of 0, and the Visa 13 is of 1, and the Maestro is of 0, and the MasterCard is of 0, and the DCCB is of 0, and the JCP 15 is of 0, and the transaction fail order fulfiller is of 0, and the duplicate IP is of 0, and the duplicate address is of the 0, and then click on the submit button. And we got the result as of genuine transaction. And press this back button and refresh button. Here we can enter the other details as of number of transactions 1, number of orders 5, number of payments 2, number of transaction failed 1, total transaction amount of 75666, and the payment registration failed 1, and the PayPal payments is 0, and the Apple payments is 1, and the card payments 0, and the Bitcoin payments 1, and orders fulfilled 1, and orders pending 0, and the orders failed 1, JCB 16 0, and the American Express 1, and the Visa 16 1, Discover 1, and Voyager as 0, and the Visa 13 is of 1, and the Maestro is of 0, and the MasterCard is of 1, and the DCCB is of 1, and the JCB 15 is of 0, and the transaction failed order fulfilled 1, and the duplicate IP is of 0, and the duplicate address is of 1. And by pressing the submit button, we can know whether the transaction is fraud or not. By clicking on the submit button, it predicted as fraud. In this way, we can give the prediction of the e-commerce fraud by using various machine learning models. And this is the comparison graph where x-axis represents the algorithms we used and the y-axis represents the value of each metric, where one bar represents the one metric, blue bar represents accuracy, green bar represents recall, red bar represents precision. And in conclusion, the project proposes a machine learning model to detect the merchant fraud in the e-commerce platform. We used various algorithms like of random forest, decision tree, and logistic regression algorithm to train the model. The results show that the proposed model performs better than the previous model, achieving a best accuracy. The project concluded the use of machine learning can help to prevent fraudulent activities in the e-commerce platform and protect the business and customers from the financial loss.
Thank you for watching video. For more projects, please visit our website www.trueprojects.in. For updates on latest project videos, please visit True Projects YouTube channel and subscribe.